Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on the time you are watching this video. Your presenter today is Benjamin Kola, and I am doing this on today. I'm producing a video on project research. I have seen and I've received a number of calls from comrades, from university students, college students, and all sorts of individuals in regards to this. They are facing a lot of the things, and they have really outlined some of the basic information that you may need to move on in project research. A project is something that you do within the university at the end of the final year in order to be certified for a degree or a diploma. So, project work and research is a pillar in attaining your degree or diploma certification. So many people experience a lot of problems, but the most important thing is the idea generation. Where do you come out with the idea? How do you develop it? How do you implement it? And how do you navigate through the system in order to understand your project well? So that takes me to an academic project. Every student has a mandate and an obligation to develop something before graduating. The project development has stipulated format independent to the various vicinities of training, but they have one clear outline in regards to their report work. So we have the abstract point, the other exclusives, and also we have the executive summary, not the executive summary, it is called the introduction part. We have the literature review, and also the final part where we have the methodology. In methodology, you can also have other things that are there as depending on the institution. But the basics I'm giving you here is the clear understanding on what you are supposed to do for you to get a project idea and how to maneuver without complications when you are doing your project. Uh, Sources of project idea. Basically, there are various research idea sources. It can be generated from a mentor, a situation, or a problem. It can be generated from a classwork, from an internship attachment. It can be generated from all sorts of life views. So basically, there are various research idea sources. Most information are garnered in various websites of learning. A research work can be generated through critical thinking of a problem solution. So how do you solve a problem within a locality? Then when you look at project modification is another way of developing a research project for an academics. Let's say this guy used this sensor. Why don't you use this sensor to test whether it can work and implement it and ensure that it works? There are other ways of developing a project, and every individual has his own way of the survival. So when you look at, let's say, someone is using an ECG. We in the hospital use ECG machines, and within our setups of validation, we always use these heart rate sensors and others. So it depends with what you are going to do. So how do you modify it? How do you get it? If a sensor has some problems in terms of noise rate is very high, and you want to smoothen out the noise and or to evacuate it, how do you solve it? So that's the other point of view. By the time of corona time, there was this thing of social distance. The social distance was a problem, and for that reason, when you look at the hospital, there was that counting machine where we have the sensor that are placed within the doorsteps in order to count the number of individuals passing through, and that brought about the RF gun, which is the thermogun, which was used to sense the temperature of an individual. Those are just some of the modifications that were used because of the situations that was there in the public. And we also used that the number, how to control the people within our locality, the putting of a mask, all sorts of things. So through a problem, you can generate a project. Through a problem, you can generate a project. As I can remember, my project idea within the university, it was generated from a sad story of my aunt passing on. And as a result of that, I gained an interest within it because atrial fibrillation was a complication within the society. So, how do you solve atrial fibrillation? I went through more research. I looked at Dr. Trust's work. I look at atrial fibrillation within the Australian countries. I look at atrial fibrillation within other sectors, authors within the research gates, and I got more information about what I want to do. When I tried to correlate it, it didn't work well, but it survived my way because I did a lot of work contrasting and comparing what is the common goal of this. So, mixing the aspect of atrial fibrillation with the aspect of telemedicine gave me uh, the best part within my project of my undergraduate. Um, a project idea can also be generated through classwork and others, as I stated initially. Even in workshops, when you go there, you find a lathe machine that is not operating well. What are some of the things you think about? When you look at the motors, are they okay within the industries? What is the solution back home? Let's say you go to apportionment, there is a problem. What do you do about it? Okay? These things that are there, problems that are there, is what you can solve. So you find a solution to a problem, or you modify a way of solving a problem. Online sites for project ideas. The first one is Project Hub, Arduino Hub, Electrical Lab. They are so, I think they are like common things, they are of the same ideas, but there are things that will make you to be more vigilant as you cross through the browsing sites because they will give you ideas on what you need. Nevon projects are the best for my case because they give you an in-depth information on what you want to do. It doesn't give you a top layered work. It gives you an in-depth information you need, and that is what I like about Nevon project. ResearchGate is also a nice site, and you can do it. When you go there, you'll find different authors with the same project, modifying every time from the back end. Like when you look at atrial fibrillation, it started back in the year 1908. So it is something that has always been there, to be there. So when you look at atrial fibrillation, it is affecting the old, the young, and also we can talk about the athletes at large. So what do you do? The monitoring through a wireless media where we bring about the telemedicine concepts and the telemetry, and that is what I want to talk about in online sites for project ideas. uh, these are others. So like when you look at this machine, it has a problem, and how do you solve the problem? That's how you can check the solutions to each and every problem. Yeah. How to navigate in Google Sites in order to get a clear project idea or to develop project. Be composed on research work. Ensure you understand what you are doing. Ensure you clearly understand what you want to make. Ensure that everything that you are doing is on the line on what you are supposed to as a certified or a professional trainee within the field of interest. Ensure proper filtration of noise. Don't check on every site of Google and all those. Some of them are not good, rogue, and others. Because when you go to YouTube, there are people who produce videos that are just there to market themselves without necessarily benefiting the customers. Compare and contrast ideas, as I said. You go through the sites. I looked at Dr. Trust, I looked at AFib, I looked at a smartwatch, I looked at so many sites for my project. Ensure you are well conversant with operation and connection of each and every component. You can't buy a component that you don't understand its availability, its operation, and its connection. So what you can do is ensure that wherever you purchase something, you've done more research and you understand how you do operate it, or else you'll be experimenting a smoke cell experiment or a smoking fire, things of that, because you'll be blowing up everything. I can remember with the time I was doing a project, I didn't blow anything because I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew this is what I was doing because before I enabled the connection of everything, I had drawn the circuit of each and every component, and to which point does it go, and all those. Ensure you be programmed well. Kindly prepare short notes for reference when navigating in Google Sites. That is so critical because the moment you start navigating through Google Sites, the moment more information you get. But through learning, you write down. Through learning, you write down for reference. In case you forget something, you go back and refer. And that's the best way of getting information for your research work. And this will help you when modifying in terms of reporting and also presentation. It will not give you a hard task. You understand everything within the setup of your project. Like this one is what I made locally initially. It was a power supply for some device that I used somewhere, and it has a PCB board which is one-sided. And when you look at it, what is the advantages of this one and this one? You compare, you look at even the cost. As a student, we don't have that much in terms of cash, but by the time you get out, you'll be good. So heatsink is there, connection of the voltage regulator 7805. We have the capacitors connection which are two, the 0.1 microfarads, 10 microfarads, the connection, how do you connect it, the earth, the output, the input. You must understand that. What is the function of the heatsink? What is the function of the voltage regulator? What is the output voltage that you want to do? So you can get this locally, because there is no need of you moving and purchasing online. The components online purchase are as follows, and you can get them in different websites depending on your interest or your taste. Most importantly, on my side, I use Nerocast and Pixels. So these are most trusted to me because they are cheap in terms of shipping and all those, and they give you products immediately you need them. So what I can tell you, order on time, because when you don't order on time, you'll run out of your projects will, yeah, they will not achieve all your objectives, the general objectives and the specific objectives, most of them. Order on time. Yeah. So thank you so much. I am Engineer Kola R.A. Benjamin, a Bachelor of Science Medical Engineering professional, and I am specializing in system design within the critical care systems and uh, the various medical equipment establishment, repair and maintenance. So that's all I have for you. Thank you, and may God bless you, leading to win.